Welcome back to another torch review. Today I have the Lumintop EDC25 in for testing. This is a brand new model out from this company. It's the first torch I've looked at from this maker. What I've done is laid everything out in the box on the table here so you can see what you get included, and we'll move in a bit closer. Now this lists out some of the specifications on the light. The packaging is quite plain on this, but I don't really have a problem with that because it really just holds the items and it's fairly eco-friendly. We've also got the outputs. Notice we have a total of 6 modes with 5 standard power modes and a strobe mode 2. Now looking at the included instruction manual, you get quite a large diagram on the front outlining the parts, and inside it goes over the operation and additional specification there. Now in this section we have a choice of 2 modes, and we'll go into that slightly more detail now, as you can set the torch to either the outdoor mode or the tactical mode. And this is quite useful because you can change the functions of the buttons with that, and this just lays out the diagram telling you very clearly which those what power outputs those modes offer. You get 2 spare O-rings, a spare tail cap cover and a micro USB cable, and the included strap. They've gone for a high visibility one. That's okay, nice quality, good stretch to it, and you have the central divider there. Now onto the case, the holster. This is a bit better quality than most that I've come across, and the reason for that is the outer shell has some additional protection on it. It's not just padded, but you have a hardened layer on the outside. On the back they've gone with the plastic D-ring, and instead of the popper they have a longer fold over Velcro section. I'm quite okay with that. It's slightly different from some holsters, but the quality is certainly very good on this, and as you'd expect, excellent fit for the torch. Nice long elasticated area there. Certainly one of the better holsters I've used to date. Onto the battery. This is a high capacity Panasonic cell, and they've added the protection to it. I've tested it. It came in at pretty much what I expect for the Panasonic to come in at. With this you just take off the tab on the end and you can start charging it. Looking at the torch in a bit more detail, we have a nice matte finish on this instead of the usual satin. Notice the flat areas to prevent rolling, and you've got a nice fine grip on the handle section too. This is the type 3 hard anodized aluminium, so it says scratch resistant as well. And you unscrew the top with this model and you turn it around, you will see that we have a micro USB port for charging, so there's no flap cover on this, so that could be an advantage. On the tail we have the switch here and a flat section on the side. You can also fit the hand strap to that, unscrew that, and it springs inside and on the cap. Just screw that in. There's a bit of silicone already pre-applied. There's an anti-roll design with this torch. Don't always get that on the EDC, the everyday style torches. And moving in closer with the XPL-V5 LED. This is a newer LED that I haven't used before. A smooth reflector. Now I'm going through the standard mode now, and that includes just turning on with the tail cap and using the mode button to cycle through the power levels. You can see at the lowest level there. To activate the strobe mode you just need to push the mode button in for a couple of seconds and that will start. Now what I'll do is switch to the tactical mode, and you do that by holding the mode button in for longer and it flashes. You'll see it there, about 3.5–4 seconds, and that means that the side switch isn't going to work anymore, except if you push and hold it in to change modes again. So you have the 3 power levels on the tail switch: the turbo, strobe and the low mode. That's quite useful because if you don't want to use the side switch, you can just switch to the tactical mode instead of the outdoor one. When the power starts to get low, under the mode button there is a red LED, and that will start flashing and blinking to let you know it's time to charge the torch. Now to charge this, slightly different to most torches where you just plug them in. On this you have to press the tail switch power button on to start charging, and it starts with a soft charge, quite a low charge, gradually moving up over time. About 10 minutes it took, and you'll see the flashing LED slows down and eventually goes to a static level, which it is here. The charging rate was just under 0.9 amps, so that's pretty good. Not the fastest I've used, but certainly good enough to avoid using a separate charger, and once it's completed it turns to green. Now comparing the tops of these, you'll see that it's curved on the EDC25. Reason for that is if you put it down, lens down, you will be able to see if you've left the torch on. Quite a useful feature. Now I'm comparing the two here. These two are both EDC models every day, and you'll see that the central clip on the Rofus is in the middle, which I think I prefer. So it's perhaps a slight design touch that I'd change on the Lumintop. Here I'm just doing the water resistance test, and you can operate the torch underwater, IPX8 up to 2 meters. This is a beam shot, EDC25 on the left and the TR20 on the right. You'll see a slightly wider, more even beam with the Lumintop. This is in a bit closer just to give you an idea of the spread again. Now the Moonlight mode is rated at 1 lumens, but I personally think it's about 3, but it's definitely lower than the Rofus and most of the other torches that I've used. It's nice to have a low mode. I'm starting off with the Lumintop on the turbo setting. You see a good even distribution with the light. It's slightly warmer than the Rofus, which is up next, which has a slightly higher concentration in the middle, and cycling through the power modes on the Rofus. Personally I prefer the Lumintop very slightly because it has a very even distribution of light. Here I have both models. So I'm on the Rofus now, and then on the Lumintop, and back to the Rofus, and then back to the EDC25. And now there isn't a lot to pick between these two. We're on a slightly closer test now at full power, and then cycling through the power modes on the EDC25. I personally like the even distribution on this. It gives a nice beam, slightly wider beam than the TR20. It's a very good general purpose beam, I believe. The TR20 here you can see slightly cooler looking and slightly hotter in the middle. And cycling through the power modes there, you have that central area which is just a little bit brighter than the Lumintop. It's down to taste though, of course. This is the MyCarbon MF19. It's a lower rated power, 800 lumens, and you can see it doesn't quite have the output of the others. And again, all three have slightly different beam patterns. A closer up test now at telephoto with the Lumintop, and then with the TR20, and then the MF19. You can see slightly higher intensity on the Rofus. Now we have the Lumintop on the left, Rofus on the right. And you can see that there's a slightly higher concentration in the middle with the Rofus. The Lumintop has a more even distribution. Wrapping up with a quick summary on the EDC25. With this particular model, I was quite impressed in most ways. There's a couple of areas I might change, possibly a slower strobe mode or an additional one included, and maybe the clip might benefit from being in the central area so that when you reverse it, it doesn't stick out the other side. But they're fairly minor points in what is overall a very nice torch. I liked the wide beam pattern. It's very evenly distributed, which makes it ideal for an everyday carry torch. The holster is also excellent quality, and you have a choice of 5 power levels, including a super low one too. I also prefer the matte finish over the usual satin one that you see on a lot of torches. So overall I'm giving this an 8.7 out of 10. Very nice torch, particularly in this price range. It's a very strong offering.